I'm Alan Spears with Occupy Democrats, and once again, Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation and potential running mate of Kamala Harris, made his way onto The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, where, once again, he completely destroyed JD Vance. Now, it would seem that Buttigieg is on a bit of a cross-country tour, as it were, as he has been taking part in a number of different interviews, including those on Fox News that we covered just yesterday. Now, in these interviews, Buttigieg has talked about a number of different topics, including the state of Democrats and our political climate, as well as what he thought of Harris running as the Democratic nominee and speculation as to who she might tap as her running mate. It would seem that over the past few weeks and months that Pete Buttigieg's popularity has only continued to skyrocket as he has continued to appear more and more frequently on various television programs and podcasts and a whole number of different media. And you needn't take my word for it. Take a look and see how the studio audience of The Daily Show greeted Buttigieg as he made his way out to interview with Jon Stewart.
And Pete Buttigieg! I'm going to tell you something about this. So, they're going crazy. Let me tell the story. That is all the time we have.
Great.
Clearly, Buttigieg is having his moment in the spotlight, and it doesn't really come as that much of a surprise as he's had an incredibly successful career and really helped to break down some barriers in the political world. Now, Pete Buttigieg is actually the first openly gay person to serve in a president's cabinet, and this was, of course, a landmark moment once he was appointed. But he hasn't allowed this point to be the sole defining aspect of his career and has actually had a wide variety of success across his career as both the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, as well as the Secretary of Transportation. Buttigieg was actually in the U.S. Navy Reserve for 7 years, and during his tenure as the mayor of South Bend in 2014, he actually took a leave of absence to go serve in Afghanistan. Suffice it to say that Buttigieg has an incredible career as both a politician and a soldier, as well as breaking barriers in this country. All of that combined with the fact that he's an incredibly gifted speaker, as well as keeping a constant calm and composed demeanor, it really doesn't come as any surprise as to why so many people really like this guy and why he is at the top of the list for potential running mates for Harris. Now, Buttigieg did go on to The Daily Show for more than just a few minutes of solid applause as he and Stewart started to dive into some of the major issues at hand, including the vetting process for a vice president, the state of our political world with Democrats and Republicans, but possibly the highlight of the interview was once again Buttigieg kind of laying into JD Vance for the heinous remarks he has continued to make, and as more and more comments seem to be resurfacing and painting him in a wretched light. Now, to briefly recap, around 3 years ago, JD Vance took part in an interview on Fox News where he essentially insulted anyone who didn't have any children, specifically targeting women who were childless. He essentially accused this country of being ran by childless cat ladies who didn't have a vested interest in the country's future because you apparently can't have an investment in the country without having children. It is a statement that is undeniably false and is incredibly insulting to a wide variety of different people in this country, not least of all those who are biologically incapable of having children. Now, this has been a really negative sticking point to Vance and has even caused the Trump campaign to sort of distance themselves from Vance, so much so that there's speculation that Trump may even ultimately replace JD Vance as his running mate, though that has yet to be seen or confirmed. But in an incredibly brutal smackdown, Buttigieg once again lays into JD Vance and his heinous rhetoric along with the Republican hypocrisy and proves to the world once and for all why we really shouldn't trust anyone within the Republican Party, and proves to the world how charismatic and charming Buttigieg really can be. Take a look and see for yourself.
Look, there is a temptation to have our message be entirely about Donald Trump because we're so
Correct.
disturbed by what his return would mean.
Right.
And maybe a little more also about JD Vance because of how odd he's turned out to be.
I got to tell you, boy, did that dude drop a turd on launch. Like, I've never seen anything like that, where they were like, one day they were like, the heir to the MAGA fortune and the Prince JD shall march. And he comes out and he's like, I hate cat ladies, you know.
No, it's rough. And you know, it's just like systematically insulted so many people. And it's not just the kind of things he said, but the policy ideas behind them. Like, he has this idea that you should get extra votes if you have kids.
Extra votes?
Yeah, he suggested that you should have extra votes if you're a parent.
Really?
Now, I think there's lots of things.
You don't even get that in your own house. I'm a parent. You don't get anything.
It's true. I'm starting to find that. I mean, ours are not yet 3, but and it's rooted in this strange idea that it's not just. He doesn't just say that being a parent gives you, an important role as a citizen, which I agree with, or that it gives you unique perspective on the future. It's that not being a parent makes you less. Like
I think that's absolutely how I feel.
He said, people who don't have children, this is a quote, have no physical commitment to the future of this country.
Wow.
And I just think about how, no physical commitment to the future. Like, when I was deployed to Afghanistan, I didn't have kids back then.
Right.
But I will tell you, especially when there was a rocket attack going on, my commitment to this country felt pretty physical.
Can I tell you something? This is why people love seeing you go on their shows, because that framing is perfect. Because it points to that idea that who are you to tell what's in someone else's heart about what they feel about the future or what they feel about this country? And the sacrifices that you made, as you said, without having had children, were tremendous.
I'm going to be honest, if Buttigieg isn't ultimately tapped to be the running mate of Kamala Harris, I am going to be a little disappointed, as I could endlessly watch this guy. And he is absolutely spot on once again. You do not need to have children of your own to have a vested interest in the well-being of this country's present and future. And as demonstrated by Buttigieg himself, there are an abundance of people in the United States military that don't have children of their own and that may never ultimately choose to have them or are capable of having them. Do you think that the people in the military care less about the well-being of this country than, say, a politician who does have children? Of course not. That is ridiculous to even consider the notion. And like Buttigieg previously mentioned, you don't know what sort of struggles someone might be going through, especially with regards to children. Maybe someone is trying to jump through the various hoops of adopting and the various financial and logistical hurdles that can come with that process. Or maybe someone is experiencing a medical condition that prevents them from easily holding a viable pregnancy, or that there's infertility involved. The point is you don't know what people are going through, and the rhetoric that JD Vance and the Republicans have been peddling is so incredibly thoughtless and insensitive. Fortunately for Buttigieg and his husband, they were able to make their dreams come true, and they were able to successfully adopt 2 young children. But for many Americans, that's just not going to be the reality of things. And I think that's why you see the unfavorability of JD Vance only continuing to rise and speculations about his career coming to an end, all the while Buttigieg is proving to be more and more popular. He is probably, as of this point, the top pick for Harris as a running mate and has only continued to gain traction and popularity in the Democratic Party. And I think this speaks to the newfound sense of hope that has been rising in the Democratic Party, whereas the Republicans have been this beacon of foreboding and just dread. You have Harris now and Buttigieg and so many other Democrats that have come together and rallied, and we're seeing this possibility for a brighter and better tomorrow. And that is why it is so incredibly important for you to vote come this November.